I was born and raised in the 80s, and like most kids of that era, we had video games, arcade games, and toys that had a massive impact on our lives. Some of them are still with us today, while others haven't been seen or heard from in decades. But it's those that have been lost to time that have left us wondering what happened to them. What happened to the toys and games of our childhood? So I'm going to share with you my own personal story about one of these lost toys and the terror it instilled in me. When I was just 3 years old, I fell down the stairs at my family home and cracked my head open. To this day, I have no idea how I managed to fall down all those stairs without falling completely out of the house, but I did. It resulted in me getting 7 staples put in my head, and my parents being so scared they would unlet me go. Upstairs again, for fear that I would do it again and end up killing myself. To help me forget about the stairs and the fact that there was now a permanent scar on my forehead, my dad bought me a toy robot named Bumblebee. I instantly took to him, and we became best friends. We did everything together. He slept in my bed with me at night. We went to the park together. We played with my other toys. He was my no-one buddy until one day he wasn't. You see, as I got older, I began to outgrow Bumblebee. Started primary school, then secondary school, and I made new friends who didn't want me to play with a stupid old robot. And so when I went to stay at my grandparents' house one weekend, I told them I wanted to leave Bumblebee behind. My gran said she would look after him for me until I was ready to come back for him. I never went back. For me, Bumblebee had become a child's toy, something I no longer had any use for. I had outgrown him and moved on. But it wasn't long before he came back into my life in the most terrifying way possible. Fast forward a few years and I was now 17. One afternoon I was at my grandparents' house, and we decided to look through some of the attic boxes to see if there was anything worth keeping, donating, or throwing away. The first box we opened was filled with all kinds of crap, and it was until my dad pulled out an old teddy bear that I finally remembered that box. Oh, I remember that teddy bear. It was one of my favorite toys as a child, but it had gone missing many years ago. Hadn't seen it since I was 5 years old. And then, as if it were summoned by my thoughts, another familiar shape appeared in the box, a metallic shape. I could hardly believe my eyes. It was Bumblebee, looking exactly the same as I remembered. I must have let out some kind of noise because my gran asked, "Is that your robot?" And I nodded silently, to speak. My dad looked at the toy suspiciously. "Isn't this the thing that tried to kill you?" he asked. I frowned. "What? No, that's not true." But my dad shook his head. "I remember your mom and I talking about it, finding you at the bottom of the stairs and not knowing how you survived. We thought that toy was to blame." I explained to my dad that the toy had nothing to do with my accident, but he just laughed and carried on filling the bag with rubbish. Little did I know that he was about to throw away more than just rubbish. As my dad continued to dig through the box, I couldn't take my eyes off Bumblebee. I was terrified. Why was he here? How did he get here? I mean, I hadn't seen him in over 10 years. I should have been happy to see him again, but instead, I was scared. Scared of what he represented, and scared of what might happen next. Then my dad let out a yell. O***T. Here we go. He pulled out a small plastic box, shoved it in his face, and read the writing on the front. "Don't open this under any circumstances," he read. "Absolutely do not open this under any circumstances." Then he turned to me and smiled. "Oh, this looks interesting." As soon as he said that, I knew that he was going to open the box. I tried to stop him, but he just laughed and said, "Don't be silly. Just watch." Inside the box was a cassette tape, an audio cassette tape. I knew exactly what it was, but I couldn't quite remember why. All I knew was that I begged him not to listen to the tape. I told him he shouldn't listen to it, that he'd be making a big mistake if he did, but he just ignored me and pressed play. As soon as the tape began to spin, a voice started speaking, a raspy, distorted voice. At first, I couldn't make out what the voice was saying, but then it became clearer and clearer. "If you are listening to this message, then you have made a grave mistake. You should not have opened this tape, should not have listened. Now you will pay the price. You and everyone you love will suffer for eternity. And there's nothing you can do to stop it." I don't really remember what happened after that. I think I ran out of the room and downstairs and outside of the house. I couldn't stay there while that tape was playing. I couldn't listen to those words, couldn't comprehend how my dad had found that tape and why it was in that box. Is it really a curse? Was it really a mistake to listen to the tape? My dad came after me, asking if I was okay. I think I said something along the lines of, "You have to stop it. The curse. It's real." But he didn't believe me. He thought I was messing around. He thought it was some kind of joke, but it wasn't. We got back inside, and he pressed rewind on the tape and listened to it again. This time, with a bigger smile on his face. But as soon as those same words came out of the speaker, his smile disappeared, and he looked genuinely scared. We listened to the tape until the very end, but thankfully, there wasn't anything else on it. It was then that we realized the tape had been recorded using one of those voice changer toys. You know, the ones where you could change your voice to sound like a monster or a demon. We had one when I was little, and I vaguely remembered my dad buying one for me. But that would make this tape a total fake. There was no curse. But even though it was a fake curse, I'm still scared of cassette tapes to this very day.